I'm going to show you how to take a chair pad from the Dollar Tree and turn it into a really cute purse. This is such a quick and easy DIY craft, so let's get going and show you how to make it. So you do need one chair pad. Go ahead and cut off that tag and that huge tag on the back of the chair pad. Why does it have to be that big? Seriously. So, and then we're going to be cutting off the ties. We're going to cut that one in the front right up there to the edge of the bias tape. Then the other one I'm going to be cutting off with some really thin scissors, which is what I recommend to do with this product because you can get really close. Those scissors are actually pretty cheap. I'll put a link in the description below. But you want to leave just a little bit off of that one that is on the top hanging over, and we are going to take care of that in a minute. So then you're going to have 4 ties left over. Now I chose a fabric that complements the pattern on the chair pad to use as a lining. So I turned the chair pad over and then I just used some tailor's chalk and drew around the edges. You want to do at least 1/4 of an inch. After having done this project, I actually suggest you might want to do a little bit more, up to about 1/2 an inch. After you have traced that, go ahead and cut that out. And like I said, that's going to be the lining. You do want to take this moment to iron that fabric if needed. So once you have it cut out and pressed and the wrinkles out, we're going to be putting the right side, or the pretty side, up on top of the back of that chair pad. Then around the edges, you're just going to tuck under, and you're going to do that until the folded edge meets the folded edge of the chair pad. This is not a specific dimension. You're just going to have to kind of do it like, as it looks good, rather than keeping a strict 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch measurement going on. Now I used pins. I highly suggest not using pins for this project. I stuck myself so many times, it's so thick. I would highly suggest using sewing clips if you have that to do this. And then once you get to the curves, just kind of do as best as you can in folding and flipping that under. It's not going to be 100% perfect. Now for the handle straps. I used an old pair of men's pants for the fabric. I cut one leg off of the pants, then I cut that in half. Ended up using measurements of 29 inches by 5 inches for each strap. Then I folded the fabric in, folded it in again, and then folded that in half with the pretty sides out. And I stitch along the edges, and that is what made up each strap. Each strap was going to be 29 inches long and 5 inches wide, the fabric, before I started folding it. Once those are sewn, I pinned it onto the edge of that chair pad, and then I used one of the ties that we cut off on either side and pinned those down too, and that's going to be a tie. Now while you're doing the pinning, just go ahead and fold that in half. Make sure that the straps line up as well as the ties, so that when you tie it closed, that everything is meeting up like it should. I have to say, if I had to do this over again, because I only made one of these, I wouldn't have the lining have been sticking out quite as much. So just keep that in mind. So now to finish off this casing, I used a seam ripper, ripped out a few of those stitches. Honestly, they were so loose, you could probably just use any scissor to do that, to kind of open up that bias tape edging. Then I'm going to fold the edge, or the cut edge, under, so that'll prevent it from fraying, and then just kind of like tuck in those ends so that it seamlessly blends in with the binding and the casing that are already around that chair pad. Then go through and sew everything. There's going to be a lot of layers here. I used a basic sewing machine, so you don't have to worry about basic sewing machine being able to do this. You just need to do it slow. Then once the lining has been sewn to the back of the chair pad, you are almost done. We are going to meet up those outer edges. Now I am going to meet up the outer edges, not just fold it in half, because if you folded it in half, it's not going to meet up the edges. So starting about that curved point, you meet up those edges, and again, just sew through those. Chances are your presser foot is not going to go all the way down to the plate like you are used to with fabric. That's okay. Just go really slow. Be sure to backstitch at the beginning of your stitching as well as at the end of your stitching. And I highly suggest that you use a thread that exactly matches the casing or the edge of that placemat in order to make it blend really well. So you are going to sew on both sides, and then the ties, I would just tie a little knot at the end of each tie before you start using it on your purse. And that is it. If you don't want to use the ties, you could also do a Velcro closure. You could also do a button closure if you'd like. I just wanted to keep this really inexpensive. So it was $1.25 plus the fabric for the lining. That fabric you might recognize from me doing the drawstring backpack. I'll put that video link in the description below. But I think this is a really, really cute bag for as quick and easy as it is. Be sure to visit easythingstosew.com for even more quick and easy sewing projects. Hope you enjoy this one, and happy sewing, everybody.